I feel like my opinions in this video might be slightly controversial, slightly unpopular, but this is going to be my book versus movie / TV show of Little Fires Everywhere. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina. I make bookish content at least twice a week and either movie or book to movie content here at the weekend. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future videos. All of my social links are linked down below so you can keep up with my reading in between videos. And today I am going to be talking about Little Fires Everywhere, the TV adaptation as shown here on Hulu, and I believe it's shown in the UK on Amazon Prime. As always, I know that when an author sells screen rights to their books, they are signing away all rights to keep the story the same, and there is no way that a hour-and-a-half long movie or a 8-hour long TV show can be the same as a full novel. I understand that, but I love looking at the two, reading the book, watching the movie, reading the book, watching the show, and bringing you my thoughts on the differences. So I listened to this book on audio. I liked it, but I didn't love it. This book is about two mothers who are brought together through their children. We have single mother Mia, and then we have mother of four, Elena, and they live very different lifestyles. Mia is black and is single and is an artist and has one daughter, Pearl, and Elena is white and is rich and has 4 kids who are all from the outside completely perfect. This book deals with race issues, class issues of being a parent, and then the issues that faced people in 1990s Ohio, which was interesting to have kind of visited that part of the world and sort of see how it was explored in the book. The author of the book, Celeste Ng, grew up in that area, so it's based on her own personal experiences. So yeah, I liked the book. I didn't love it. I do normally have that experience with books that are kind of like hyped book club picks, literary fiction. It's not my comfort zone. And so I often find that I like them, but I don't love them. And I don't know if it's the hype that spoils that or the fact that they are just outside of my comfort zone. However, I absolutely loved the TV show. For me, I feel like the TV show gave me greater depth to each and every one of these characters. The side characters, the males who we don't hear a lot about in the book, the kind of, I felt like I got a feel of the society more from being able to see it on the screen as opposed to reading it in the book. And that might just be the place that I was in when I read the book and watched the show, that, you know, I was feeling a little bit more lazy and wasn't willing to put those ideas together in my head as I was reading the book. But I really do feel like they did an amazing job of bringing this setting and these characters to life. I found myself just absolutely binging the TV show. Quite often with heavy drama type TV shows like that, especially when the episodes are an hour long, I can only do one a day. I don't want to kind of binge it, but I binged this over like 3 days of a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I absolutely loved it. I really loved the high drama. And I think that's another difference between the book and the show. I feel like the book was a lot more subtle and the drama came through it being a lot more subtle, whereas the show, because it's a TV show, had to be more obvious. It literally has to show you it. It can't just kind of like subtly nuance these ideas throughout. And I think I liked the bigger drama of the TV show. Literally, there was moments where Reese Witherspoon or Kerry Washington were just like, and I really liked being able to see that. I found that I went along with them, whereas when I was reading the book, I was like, oh, okay, this has happened, take it in, compute. Whereas I found that watching the show, it kind of made it a little bit more exciting and thrilling and it gave more emotion to me. Neither the book nor the show made me cry, but I don't think it's designed to be that kind of a book. I wasn't keen on the casting of Pearl, but that didn't affect my enjoyment of the show. I just felt like she had kind of two looks. There was the look of like, something dramatic's happened and I'm a bit upset about it, or there was the look of, I wish I lived in that house and I wish you were my mom, like that kind of thing. I wasn't so keen on her casting. I really liked the casting of Elena and Mia, Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon. I thought they were really good picks for the characters, and I thought they did a really good job of playing the characters as these two completely opposing forces that they're built as in the book. I feel like the flashbacks in the show were a lot more obvious than the flashbacks in the book as well. I think that's where me listening to the audiobook of the book, I sometimes found it difficult to keep track of what time we were in, because I felt like it jumped from character to character and time zone to time zone just a little bit more than the show did. We had a few flashbacks in the show, and it was always very clear when a flashback was happening because they did that thing where they put it up on the screen, and I found that easier to deal with and easier to follow than I did with the book. I'm making myself sound like a really lazy reader here, and you know, I'll openly admit that when it comes to genre, I am a lazy reader, but I am prepared to kind of take on board multiple characters, multiple point of views, multiple timelines. However, I think possibly if I'd read the book as a physical book, I would have found it easier to jump between the worlds and the characters and the times than I did listening to the audiobook. And so the show for me just made that little bit clearer. The show also kind of starts at the sort of dramatic ending of the book and shows you kind of how it's going to end up, and then kind of works its way back. I feel a little bit like they jumped on the like Reese Witherspoon Big Little Lies bandwagon a little bit with that, like, oh, we have to make it like that because that was really successful and that really worked for her, and you know, she was attached to that and she's attached to this. And so I feel like that was maybe a decision that they made based off of her involvement rather than this is how we're going to do it based on the book. But I was fine with that, but it was always in the back of my head as we were watching the episodes play out and develop. I feel like the storyline with Mei Ling and Bibi was slightly more prominent in the book than it was in the show, and I felt a bit like if I'd watched the show as a standalone show, I would have felt like they just added that storyline in just to further seal the kind of racial and class divides, rather than as an added intrigue and as further character development for our two main characters. So I feel like it could have been done better in the show. I feel like there was more emphasis on that in the book. It was also interesting Pearl's relationship with each of the four children in Elena's house. It was interesting watching it play out in the show. I felt like I felt more of a connection with some of the characters in the book, and then more of a connection with some characters in the show, which was really interesting for me. Having read the book, I remembered Pearl's relationship with a couple of those characters, but I had forgotten the relationship between a couple of the other characters, and so I feel like they did a better job of that in the show. So I feel like those are the main differences. The general feeling, I feel the show was definitely more dramatic, but then in order to keep us engaged with that television and not make us click onto one of the other million trillion things that are available on all these streaming services that we have access to right now, I think that it had to be dramatic. It had to have that thrill factor about it. Whereas the book isn't a terribly long book. It doesn't need to be overly dramatic for you to keep turning the pages, because it has that intrigue and it has that kind of like subtle drama going on to keep you turning the pages and going, oh, I wonder what that's about. Oh, I wonder how that's going to pan out. Oh, I remember them talking about that. And so I do feel like the two things did feel quite different. But overall, I really liked the show, and I liked but didn't love the book. So if you were to ask me my preference, I preferred the show over the book. Unpopular opinion. The opinion that the book is always better seems to be out there. But if you've watched any of my past book versus movie videos, I will leave the playlist on the end screen for you, because you will know, if you have seen them or if you're about to see them, that I don't always feel like the book is better, even though I am somebody that reads hundreds of books a year and I love books. Don't always agree with that opinion. So yes, I will leave that playlist for you. Make sure you're subscribed so that future book versus movie videos land in your subscription feed. I would love to hear your thoughts if you have read the book, watched the show, or just done one or the other. What are your thoughts on this? As always, if there are other book versus movie videos you would like me to bring you here, or book versus shows, I am more than happy to. I have a couple in the pipeline at the moment. They will be coming your way very soon. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell so that you do not miss them. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you with my next video soon.